Okay, we we might be back. Let's find out.
Jordan Lee?
Possibly. Oh, no, we're mining cryptocurrency again. We gotta stop that. Okay, everything seems fine again now.
Okay.
So, hey, welcome back again. This time, I'm sure nothing is gonna go wrong. I'm just sure of it.
Absolutely.
I can't imagine what could go wrong. Just like I couldn't have imagined what could have gone wrong last time that it went wrong. But hey, so we're back, and you know what? This seems like a good time to go ahead and talk about our topic for today.
Yeah.
So our topic for today, as you might have noticed from the title, is environmentalism.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Is it an idea? Is it, is it good? Is it bad? Is it worth even discussing? I don't know. I mean, we're going to discuss it, so I guess we'll find out.
I'm going to have another one of these sour monkeys,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll cool down with a winter lager.
Right. It's not like the Sour Monkey is a 9% alcohol by volume.
Right.
And it will definitely
Well,
not have an effect. No, 9.5%.
yeah. Well, what I'm thinking is, as far as me driving home later, I definitely want another sour monkey, but I don't want it to be the last thing I drink.
Right. Probably not a good idea.
If I'm feeling up to another beer and we have enough time, I'll have a winter lager. If not, I've had winter lager, so.
Oh, also, I'm gonna be checking periodically to make sure the audio is still alive.
Okay.
Because now I'm scared. But environmentalism.
Yes.
As a man who has who for the past 8-9 months or so mined cryptocurrency in his home and partially in your home. Mm-hmm. I'm no stranger to environmentalism. Mm-hmm. Strong proponent over here of wasting energy to do literally nothing
mm-hmm.
of any value whatsoever.
Cryptocurrency is very environmental.
I'm reformed, though. I'm a new man. I have gotten out of the cryptocurrency business, and with the funds from selling out of the cryptocurrency business, I purchased an electric vehicle so that I could be environmentally conscious.
He's been redeemed.
I am righting the wrongs of my past generation of me.
Yep.
So the ancestor, Caleb, of your committed crimes against
Carbon
humanity,
crimes.
And more specifically against Mother Earth Gaia.
Yeah.
And now current modern Caleb is paying the price.
Hip, cool
And
Caleb.
by that I mean I bought an electric car because it made financial sense to me. Mm-hmm. But I did in fact fund it with funds from the cryptocurrency sell-off. Mm-hmm. I did not sell my actual Bitcoin, by the way. So if anybody's worried about that, it was just liquidating the hardware from the. I'm sure that if anybody knew that I had sold Bitcoin, they'd be like, "Oh,
you could sell it this week and buy it back for as much or cheaper next week." So
yeah, it's kind of just been back and forth, around the same value. So
okay,
actually, I wish I had sold it last week.
Yeah,
and then bought it this week.
Right,
it would have been pretty sweet. But yeah, so cryptocurrency, it's pretty cool. I recommend everybody get into mining it. It's a great time.
Not now though.
It's a great time to get into mining it.
Right. At the end of the era.
Profitability is at an all-time low. The cost of the equipment is at an all-time high. It's a perfect time to get in.
It's the perfect time. There's never been a better time.
Right.
Well, somebody out there on YouTube will tell you there's never been a better time.
Right. I'm a cryptocurrency guru, okay? Listen to me and let me tell you.
And buy my audio, or buy my video cards.
Yes. Buy the video cards I'm selling.
Because there's never been a better time.
GTX 1070s that retailed for $375 Man, you can buy them for like $650 now. It's a steal. But no, for real though, I did in fact get out of the cryptocurrency mining business, and I did in fact, you know, pay up, you know, basically on for the sins that I committed. Right. I paid my what it was it called in Catholicism? Whenever you pay to get out of hell.
Oh, I don't remember now.
I'm not Catholic, and neither is Jeremy.
But
reparations to the planet. Yeah. So anyway, the point is that I now drive an all-electric car with no gas.
No gas at all. No gas.
It's called, you may have heard of it, it's called a Chevy Volt.
And it doesn't use gas.
It has a 40-mile electric range, and then it has another 300 miles of gas range. It's pretty sweet. But we talked about it a little bit last week, right? Mm-hmm. I've since driven it for a week, and have some thoughts to say about the car specifically, and then also some thoughts I have about environmentalism because, you know, I am now one of them. Yeah. As an electric car owner.
You want to bring up the chat?
Oh yeah, I forgot to bring up the chat. Let's get the keyboard here and get this pulled up. Oh wow, we just don't even slightly have any of this stuff ready. Well, we're having a real technical nightmare happening here, so yeah. I think that you can all cut us some slack here.
You'd think you could. Anyway.
Okay, so that's good. Alright, so Twitch is good. YouTube. So, anyway, environmentalism. Yeah. Electric cars. I'm an electric car. Mm-hmm. I drive it every day.
I have a Honda.
Yeah. It's not a Honda Clarity.
No.
Nor is it a Honda Insight.
Or a Honda Fit. Isn't that a thing? What is that?
I think it's just like a compact car.
Oh, okay.
Although there might be a Fit hybrid. I don't know. You never know. So anyway, the Volt. I've been driving it for a week. I've driven... I don't know how many miles. A lot.
Like 1 million?
Because I've had... It's been a... Well... the job I do is, you know, has a pretty sizable territory that I cover. And I have been over a fairly large portion of that territory.
Right.
Which is not entirely normal. It's not entirely abnormal either. I mean,
yeah.
But, you know, you could go a week where you drive a very small portion of the territory, and then sometimes, you know, you're from one end to the other every single day.
Right.
And that has been this past week, pretty much. I only had one outlier job, so...
But you just had a lot of...
But I had a lot of jobs in
just local jobs.
Just the furthest reaches of local.
Right.
And so I've probably driven... Well, that first day I had the car driving for the job, I drove 250 miles, 270 miles or so. And then after that, and that day I averaged 42 miles per gallon because I had no idea what I was doing driving that car. It's just, I was completely and utterly... there's a learning curve. Let's be honest. There's a learning curve to driving effectively in a Volt or a hybrid of any kind, as I understand. Yes. You owned a Prius, so you
have to learn. You have to learn the most efficient ways to drive your car.
Right, and so that's certainly true with the Volt. Probably more so even than with the Prius because of the fact that it has such a large battery that you have to manage yourself.
Right.
So you've got to learn the appropriate times to be running on battery power versus when you're running on gas. And so it's a little bit more complex. But as the week progressed, I got better at it. And I've been averaging over 50 miles per gallon every trip. Several, 150 miles, 120 mile trip, 58 miles per gallon, 55.5 miles per gallon.
Yeah. So
overall, as far as fuel economy is concerned, it's been pretty fantastic. I know there's a lot of people that may have 125 or 200 mile per gallon numbers on the volts. It varies wildly based on what your commute looks like. And since my commute is different every day, there's really no way to keep track of it. But certainly my numbers have improved. And I gotta say, I love it. I love it. It's fantastic. If you are looking for a car and you have a reasonably distanced commute that you understand and know what it's going to be every day, you should probably look into buying a used Volt. They are incredibly cheap right now, and there's pretty much no downside.
What's up, D-Man Stick Guy?
Oh, hey, it's a Chad guy. I've never heard of D-Man Stick Guy, but I know now. Oh, he retracted his message. What?
Oh, well, okay.
Okay, well, so I think we offended him by answering his question, which was what's up. Oh, we didn't actually say what's up. So what's up is that we're playing Mega Man 4, right? And also we're talking about electric cars, and specifically the Volt, which isn't really an electric car, but it sort of is.
So you said you love it.
I love it.
But the real question is, why do you love it?
Well, I love it because what it does is it gamifies the driving experience. Because the Volt gives you so many stats to look at. It's fantastic. If you like playing video games, you will love driving a Chevy Volt because it's like there's like constant running stats on how efficiently you're driving, how many kilowatt hours you've used in power versus engine power, and you can monitor everything constantly as you drive. So it is kind of like you're trying to speed run / get maximum level of points / 100% complete your drive that day. Yeah. It's awesome. It makes me giddy just thinking about it because like every time I'm driving the car, I'm like I'm setting goals for myself. Right. And then trying to achieve them and failing most of the time because I'm too ambitious. But it's really fun. It's fun to drive. It's a really smooth ride for one. Yeah. But just like it really is gamey. Driving the car is like a game.
So you're telling me that the reason you love the car is not for the environmental aspect?
No. That's not it. That's not the reason that I like the car. I like the car because everything about driving the car is a blast. Well, it's super smooth. It's super fun. Now to the point of the environmental thing, the environmental question, right? What is environmentalism? Is it real? Is it made up? Is there even an environment? Is this real?
While we're on the subject of cars, do you think that battery-powered cars are better for the environment?
That's a complicated issue because first off, batteries are not entirely clean for the planet.
Yeah, that's true of the Prius as well.
Oh yeah. So you're right, D-Man Stick Guy. Regenerative braking is what it's called, and yeah, as you slow down or as you coast, it regenerates power, which is sweet. Yep. And so that is a major factor in how your fuel economy overall is. Yeah. And
I used to try to coast as much as I could in the Prius. Right. Just to get a little bit of charge in my battery.
Yeah. The Volt. Oh yeah, it does look cool, doesn't it? The Volt is a cool car, also. Yeah. So yeah, D-Man Stick Guy, you know what you're talking about. You know why you're on the environmental stream. Yep. Because you're going to talk about volts. Because we're all Volt people here, except for most of us.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't have a Volt.
Actually, between you, me, and D-Man Stick Guy, mostly Volt people.
That's true. 66% of us are Volt people.
Now, with that being said, the environment. What's that? You know, what is that? So here's my thought. Batteries, not environmentally friendly to manufacture, but once they're manufactured, you know, they're not causing any problems until it comes time to dispose of them.
Sure.
But that's a totally separate issue that, I mean, you don't throw a car away. So more than likely, that's not in and of itself going to be a problem.
But that battery's not going to last forever either. You eventually will have to dispose of it.
Yeah, at some point, all these electric cars will have to be disposed of. And at that point, it's going to come down to scrap yards and, you know, how we set regulations for how disposal is going to be handled.
Yeah.
But with that being said, here's the problem: with the environmental friendliness of driving electric vehicles. Batteries, you know, they require some specific precious metals from the earth that we have to go and dig massive holes deep in the earth, mostly in China, to get. Lithium specifically comes mostly from China, which is kind of scary, actually. But, you know, that's a separate issue. More of a geopolitical issue. But
we're not talking about geopolitics tonight.
We're talking about enviropolitics. But the other thing is, like here in where we live in the Little Rock metro area, power is sourced primarily here from coal burning. Coal burning plants. It's basically like 50% coal, like 30% natural gas,
right? And
then the remainder is hydroelectric.
And that was my main question. I know that the batteries are not good for the environment, but they are also something that you make it once and it lasts for quite a long time.
But especially in something like the Volt, which has a really, really, really good battery management system that keeps the batteries healthy as long as possible.
Right.
But yes, the day-to-day, you know, operation of the vehicle is not really. I mean, you're using electricity instead of gas, but the electricity is being made with coal and gas, and there are some places like in Canada where almost everything is hydro. At which point, yeah, I mean, there's really no argument against it in that case, where if all your power is coming from renewable sources, then you know, the environmental question is really not a question anymore. But here, I mean, no, like most of the power comes from coal, and that's not very environmentally friendly. So I don't really think that by driving electric vehicles in this part of the country, you are really doing too many favors for the environment.
Right.
It may be a less impactful thing if more people were driving electric vehicles, but I can't say that for sure.
So that brings up a question: will there ever be a truly environmental friendly mode of transportation, or is public transit like the closest thing we're ever going to come to that?
Well, I mean, public transit is more efficient in that any like reasonable form of public transit is going to be able to move more people with you know, per amount of energy expended.
Yeah.
But it's also inefficient for the people who are going to be using it. So I don't know. That's a complicated question, because what do you value more? Your convenience, or how like precisely efficient you're being?
Well,
could it not be argued that you may be getting to and from your you know, close to your destination efficiently, but that you yourself are expending time and effort that makes it not worth it to deal with public transportation?
Right. And you know, I'll just go ahead and go on the record now and say I'm mostly conservative. I line up with most of the libertarian views that you have. I'm not totally oblivious to like taking care of the earth. I think it's not being a good steward of what we have to just destroy the earth.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of things that happen that we shouldn't do, or that we could do more efficiently. However, and this is selfish, but when it comes to my quality of life and, you know, convenience, if I lived in New York City, I would probably take the subway.
Right.
If I lived in Boston, I would probably take the subway or the rail cars or whatever. But I live in a small town. There's no real like public transit that I could take.
The Little Rock metro area is the worst. Has like a terrible public transit.
There's no real
the only
transit.
Option is buses, and
the bus schedules are terrible. Like you can't.
Well, and if you live anywhere that's not in Little Rock, you're not going to be able to catch a bus.
And by the way,
where you need to go.
With Caleb and I, our jobs, it's not even feasible to take.
Oh yeah, it would be impossible. We both do in on-site, in-home sales, so it's impossible.
Yeah.
And we both cover the entire state. Well, I cover most of the state. Jeremy covers the entire state plus several other states. You know, portions of several other states. So, yeah, it's not even possible. But like, even if it were like a commute to an office, it's almost impossible to do it in the Little Rock area unless you live in Little Rock.
Right.
Which I guess you could do. I mean, that's not. If you wanted to be an ultimate environmentally friendly person, I suppose you could move into Little Rock and get yourself close to a convenient bus stop area where you could get onto a bus and go where you need to go for work. And I guess you could choose where you work based on how practical it is to get to it from a bus. But at that point, you're making decisions about how you're going to live your life and plan your goals for your life.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to take an extra hour a day. You're going to take an extra hour a day.
Right.
Or you're going to just go a really inconvenient route.
Yeah. Or you're just going to work at McDonald's, which, I mean, is not okay. Sorry. People who work at McDonald's until they're like in their 60s. Yeah. That's not a viable way to... You've failed. I'm not
going to say that, like, I'm not going to judge you. If that's the way you want to live your life, fine.
I am actually going to judge you.
No, I mean, hell, you know, if they're paying their bills and not on government assistance, fine.
The thing is, though, that McDonald's is a teenager's job. Like, so if you're still there, it's just like in movie theaters and working at bookstores.
I agree with you that you haven't achieved your potential.
You have failed. Like, you may be okay with that, and that's fine. If you're okay with it, that's fine. But you have failed in the eyes of the world.
If you're the general manager of a McDonald's, that's one thing. If you're slinging fries,
I would argue that even if you're the general manager of a McDonald's,
come on,
there's a certain point
they
at
make
which
they make a decent amount of money.
I know they do, but I mean, look, I know of not McDonald's general managers, but I know of a general manager of a Domino's that's 19. That was 19 years old at the time. That was a couple of years ago, but you know, it's not a huge thing that you've achieved general manager at.
It's a bigger thing at McDonald's than Domino's. I can tell you that.
Well, that may be true. That may be true, but you know,
McDonald's is a well-oiled machine. Domino's is a bullshit company.
Well, sure. I mean, you have worked for plenty of Domino's, so
yes, you
do know. You know better than I. I've never worked for a Domino's.
Yeah,
but you know. But my point is that if you're a McDonald's manager, you probably haven't achieved much. I mean, you know, not trying to be mean, but you know, set your goal, set your sights higher. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, so what was the point? I missed the point of where we got off on McDonald's.
I don't know. It just kind of happened. I really am totally lost at this point. Environmental friendliness. You can't realistically.
You can't work at McDonald's and be environmental friendly.
You can't realistically do public transit in a place like this, which is most of America.
Yeah.
You know, Europe, probably a different story. I don't know.
Yeah.
Asia, probably a different story, depending on where you're at.
Well,
but America, though, not a chance. The majority of Americans will not be able to make that work for them.
I disagree, D-Man. I absolutely love McDonald's. So
I don't know. I mean, what are we talking? Are we talking breakfast, or are we talking like McDoubles? Because like breakfast doesn't sit well with me.
Breakfast doesn't sit well with me at any restaurant. But quarter pounder with cheese. And a Big Mac. I do like a Big Mac.
I do love a McDouble. However, I have to say, Burger King's my jam, though. Now I never go there. I never go to Burger King, but it is my jam.
You did McDonald's like every day for a month or something, didn't you?
Yeah, because it didn't cost me anything.
Not like Super Size Me style, but
no, like they kept on giving me a free burger, so I kept going. Well, that was whenever they were giving away the signature like chef crafted menu items,
right?
Which are pretty legit, actually. The grilled chicken with the pico guacamole, freaking good. Like legitimately a good sandwich.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, McDonald's, not the point of this conversation.
No.
The point of this conversation is that...
We were talking about public transit when we got on this, yeah.
Public transit, probably more efficient, but it's not practical for most people. You're going to have to drive your own vehicle. Really, the only environmentally friendly future I see is a future where we're not burning fossil fuels for our energy anymore.
Sorry for this repeated load stating here, but I'm on my last life, so this is what I've got to deal with.
Right. But yeah, renewable energy, that's really it. You know, when we get to a point where we don't have to burn fossil fuels for power, then it won't matter anymore. So I have to tell you, like, this house that I'm in currently, I'm renting it. If I do have an opportunity to buy it, I probably will.
Put solar panels on it?
I'm going to put solar panels on it. If I buy this house, I will put solar panels on it. Well, that is in the roadmap of things to do. And it's not. And here's the thing. Here's my perspective on environmentalism. I don't know how much how much humans really have affected the Earth. You know, I'm not a scientist. I know that there are scientists who say that we are entirely responsible for everything that's happened, so far. I know that there are scientists who say that we are somewhat responsible in some ways.
I think it would be naive to say that we had no impact on the environment.
Right, absolutely. So, I know that trying to reduce my impact on the environment is a good thing. Right. There's no way that it's not a good thing. But it has to be within reason. I will happily put solar panels on my roof whenever I own this house, because that will be helpful to me and also good for the environment. So my main thing is, if it helps me and it's also good for the environment, then it's worth me doing. Mm-hmm. If it hurts me and it's good for the environment in the vague, minimal way that I can possibly affect it, then I'm not likely to do it.
Right.
And I'm not going to feel bad about it either. But that's the nice thing about, the way that these technologies are advancing for us, is that it's really, being helpful to you and being helpful to the environment kind of go hand in hand with a lot of this stuff. If you put solar panels on your house, you have an upfront investment that you're making, but long term you will save money on energy. Right. And at the same time, you'll be providing energy to your home more efficiently than you would have been through buying your natural gas and coal powered electricity from your electric company. So, and then in my case right here, with the Volt, which is my first step into environmentalism, I'm driving more efficiently and it's saving me money. Right. So I made an upfront investment in the car, which was an incredibly small investment given what it's going to do long term, and it's amazing. Like, if you're looking to buy a car, you should be looking at buying a Volt. And it's not even super practical for me. It would have probably been more practical for me to buy like a Prius or something like that. Right. That gets better overall fuel economy.
I don't know, man. But that trip you told me about 55, I never got 55 in the Prius.
Well, but the thing is, there's so much variability to the performance of this car. Like, if I drive to Fort Smith, I'm not going to get 55. Right. But I might have beaten a Prius. Like a Prius.
Did you go when you got the 55? You did a decent.
55 was 140 miles.
Okay.
But
round trip.
Yeah, it's 140 mile round trip. So if you extrapolate that to Fort Smith, that's almost twice as much.
Right.
And at that point, I would be significantly losing the advantage of the battery. So I could probably beat it in a Prius.
Right.
On that trip. But on shorter trips, I could beat the Prius all day.
Right.
So, it just depends. Oh man, our audio is fucking up again.
Are you kidding?
Nope. I don't know what's going on. Okay, before we cancel the stream, I'm gonna go look and see what's happening here. See if I can find out what is...
What's the deal? Sorry guys, we're new at this.
We've never had these kinds of problems before.
Never had this kind of problem before.
Weird. I can't actually find anything wrong.
That blows, man.
Like CPU utilization is low, memory utilization is low. There's nothing like actually apparently wrong.
It's not the mic or the driver for the mic.
I've never had issues with this mic before.
Yeah.
No, the audio issue is transferring to the game as well, even with the mic unplugged.
So it's OBS.
Yeah, I think it's the new version of OBS we're using. Weird. Thanks, OBS.
Hold on. I'm just gonna Google it.
Weird. But restarting the computer will fix it temporarily. Okay, guys. Well, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know what's happening, but we could restart it again, and we get some amount of time out of it.
Yeah.
Or we could just call it and try to figure out what's going on.
I mean, I'm almost done with this game. We could restart it, finish the game, and then...
Okay.
I'm just looking up if anybody else is having issues with OBS. And so far I'm not seeing anything.
I wonder if I can roll back OBS to the previous version. Okay,